I mean, I got a green dinosaur. It's the best. Top shelf, man. Look at it.
No. Mine's a boy.
Nah,
that means it's better than yours.
It's pink, but it's a little girl.
No, it's a boy.
Well, I've got a boat.
Shut up, you're Paul. You know what? I know how we can settle this. Strategio! Strategio.
Cameron Ray, 17682275.
Ben Dieno, student number 175-00177.
Bradley Gale, 1701-2339.
Strategio, a game for any Australian classroom. The aim of the game is to travel from the start of the board and twice around and to eventually finish in the end zone. The game will test the player's knowledge on issues from three sub-specific social justice issues and can relate to the focused issue of gender inequality, racism and socioeconomic status, answering questions that are relevant to students studying in the English KLA. Equipment needed includes a game board, a timer, dice, player icons and cards. Strategio. The game is pretty simple. Each player rolls the dice to see who goes first. Highest number wins. Each player starts on start. The smaller triangles are only worth 2 points. The question marks are worth 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit me. Man, English is so boring without Strategio.
I know. I'm so happy my teacher got me this game. Kim identifies as a transgender, but her teacher won't let her use either bathroom. Which social justice issue is this? You never get this one.
Man, we learned about this. Didn't someone... What book did I read that had this? I think I'm gonna go with gender inequality. Oh! And each corner with racism, socioeconomic status and gender equality are each worth 10 points. Each corner has a 1 minute time allocation to which players can answer as many questions as they can within the 1 minute restriction. The game is pretty simple. It is points related. The first player to reach the finish and the tally is made wins the game. So it's not always about who gets through the game quickest, it's about who gets the most points on their corners and issues of social justice.
The social justice issues we'll be covering will be socioeconomic status. This is an issue because of the people in which it affects. It is important to include this in the game as it affects the amount of influence that the social environment will have on a person's family, wealth, community, career and education. We've also decided to include racism as an issue because in most countries there is a multicultural society, and if people were discriminated against, whether this be not employing someone based on their race, making insensitive jokes towards a certain ethnicity, or merely excluding someone because of their race. This impacts individuals, but also as a community, as an entity. Gender inequality is also an issue that must be addressed. In modern society, men are expected to act one way and women another. And this separation can be seen in sport, careers, clothing, appearance, and social situations. It remains an issue in contemporary society as this gender bias can apply to almost every aspect of life for a child, teenager, or adult. Students will engage with these issues through the scenarios in the game. In the scenarios, the students will be given a certain situation and must distinguish which social justice issue it is. This will assist in helping the students distinguish which social justice issues affect them in their specific subject and how these issues can impact upon everyday people. It allows their cognitive thinking to take effect and discover the impact that these social justice issues have upon people of different ages, race, gender and status.
Pedagogical theories. Socio-constructivist strategy is appropriate to use as it deals with the impact of collaboration and negotiation, of how a student learns and thinks about the social justice issues that will be presented to them. It remains appropriate as the game will allow students to collaborate into a certain way of teaching and will allow students to mould their opinions to better conform with the social justice issues of society. The cognitivism theory is based upon the way that students will process the game and the ideas it attempts to convey. It expands upon the idea that the process of learning can be described in terms of processing the principles of the social justice issue and understanding the impacts that these issues have. Theoretical frameworks. Social reproduction mentions that inequalities are passed from one generation to the next. If this framework continues, students will continue along these trends of racism, gender inequality, and unfair socio-economic status. This game attempts to break this idea by introducing scenarios that subvert the way students think. Social constructionism states that human development is socially situated and knowledge is constructed through social interactions. By having the students interact socially through a game, their perception of these social justice issues increases and their knowledge expands their awareness of these issues.